So we are here with Tod Howarth.
Woohoo!
And we used to say of the Ace Frehley band or of the Comet, but now it's a 4x Fate.
Yes, yes, and that's hard to. I mean, a lot of people still go 4x4, yay! I'm like, yay! Wait, no, it's 4x Fate. It's so hard, especially for me because I'm an off-roader. I always think 4x4, no Fate.
Yeah,
But thank you, Mitch. Thank you for having me.
We'll get that word out there. We'll get people to know.
Yeah, yeah.
I just spoke to John recently, so I guess we can quickly go over how you got into the band and how it got formed. But then let's dig into the meat. Let's dig into these wonderful albums. Remember this?
Oh yes, Cobalt Parlor. That was my my real first solo CD with me playing everything. Which I mean, the heart and soul I poured into that dark record.
Wait a minute. This is your first solo album.
According to a lot of fans, yes. I had some fans ask me that at the rehearsal performance last Sunday about that. They didn't really. They referred to it as the Tod Howarth CD, and I'm like, yeah, I've heard that, And he said, no, I mean that badly. I said, well, I understand, but a lot of people think I was trying to take over the band, and it's like, oh, how ridiculous is that? It's just I had the material then, and then even somebody made a comment about I finally got my wish that I got my solo band going here with 4x Fate, and like, wait a minute, 26 years later I get my wish, and it's not my solo band, it's 4 members.
Yeah.
Geez, that's stupid.
Yeah,
but yes.
And by the way, for people who are listening to this on iTunes, I just showed them the second sighting cover. But let's get to 4x Fate. So last summer, you did a couple of songs for this wonderful tribute album that I did.
Yes, thank you so very much, Mitch.
Yeah, that was great, by the way.
It was. It was a lot of fun and such a worthy cause.
Yeah, and you came together for Breakout with John, and it turned out so wonderfully. And Kevin Valentine, of course, played drums on it.
Oh, yeah, he was slamming. I mean, that song's difficult to play by itself, but then to play it literally by yourself to a click track and try to match the energy and the performance of Anton Fig, it was monumental. I mean, it was such a task that it's impossible to get all the parts down in an area where it sounds just like the same. You have to add stuff here and there, which Kevin did. Matter of fact, when I got the track from after Johnny put the bass on, I said, John, I called him and said, dude, the arrangement's all wrong. He said, yeah, it doesn't matter. Just play to it. I said, okay. So, I mean, because since I did all that rest of the stuff, the guitars and vocals, and I think I don't know if I did any keyboard on it or not, but
you might have.
Yeah, I just made it happen, and it turned out fantastically. I mean, due to Kevin's effort, and of course your catalyst for having the project, the song happen in the first place.
Yeah, the Greater World with Heroes. So from all of that, we decided that maybe it'd be nice to have you come up to Canada and do a couple of shows, and you know.
Well, that was your idea to do that. I mean, John and I have been working on trying to get Ace back together to do the Comet anniversary show, and we've been run through a bunch of people, and then even some fans tried to help us that had some constant contact with the people that were working with him at the time, and it never came to pass. And we finally did get a hold of him not too long ago, and where he just kind of passed on it, which I understand. He's got his own thing he wants to do, and as a lot of people do. But in the meantime, you had suggested that based on this Breakout thing, that maybe John and I could just put together a project with some members that were enthused by the very same project that you came up with and had people involved in contributing. And as it turned out, I mean, it's a long story roundabout, but we were going to do kind of like a Frehley's Comet Kiss thing, and then it turned into more like Frehley's Comet, and now it's pretty much just 4x Fate doing songs from the Comet and the other resume of the other members, and so it was quite the blender of what took place.
Yes, so we got some Peter Frampton, some Cheap Trick, some Wasp.
Yeah, some Wasps and Crash Kelly, from Sean Kelly, of course, from Canada. I mean, what a fantastic talent, and Stet, great talent, and what a hilarious personality he is. I mean, he's just like, there's always a talker in the band. He's that one.
He's the talker, right?
Yeah. It's hilarious. I mean, it's so much fun, I mean, I make fun of everybody, including myself, mostly. But I mean, it's just we had so much fun with the live stage fodder last Sunday that that will continue into the rest of the shows because it's just fun. We're all there to give the fans listening pleasure as well as visual, and just like, hey, we're up here to have a great time. I hope you get the inside jokes.
Yeah, actually, let's talk about that because you just did a rehearsal. We're the end of April now. You did a rehearsal in the middle of April. First time the band got together. How did it sound to you?
It sounded pretty damn good. You go in with expectations based on your experience, and
right.
I've got many years, and John has many years. And I think we built it up to the point where it was just going to be fantastic right off the bat. And in fact, it was. Probably from a different level than we had thought. I mean, you think it's going to be this way, and we need to be here, but it turns out to be this way, and you're still close to this. Huh. So with some polishing and some direction, just live production type, simple things, and arrangements and delivery, it came together unbelievably well inside of 2.5 days of what we had before we played live with the audience there. Sean came in knowing what it was about and having the character down, but it was wild because we were working on stuff on Friday because we played all damn day long, and then part of Saturday, and all of a sudden, I think within a couple hours of rehearsing, Sean and I started working on some of the rhythm stuff and my sound and the way I play, and he's 41, I think. He's brilliant. He was like
he's younger than all of us, so we'll just call him the kid.
And I gotta let's see, get rid of this. Somebody's calling me. Okay, I gotta get that out on Skype. He all of a sudden he just clicked the switch and goes, "I know what you're doing. I know how you're playing." And all of a sudden he started playing all the rhythm stuff exactly like me. And it's like, holy shit, this is great. I mean, that's kind of one-sided sounding, but because we're playing a lot of basic Frehley's Comet stuff, it clicked amazingly well. Yeah. Then we worked on Stet, and we worked on Stet. Not that he needed much work because he's got a great delivery. As John stated, he came with such a great energy initially, and then we kind of broke it down and tried to get him to reapproach, which he did very well. And he came back ass kicking, and all of us are still rough around the edges to a degree, but the energy we got by Sunday was fantastic. We even screwed up some of the arrangements and endings in the live performance.
No, you made them fresh. That's how you market that.
Yeah, and poor Stet was going, I've never been to work so hard in my life, my God, But I think that a lot of people seem to think that, okay, Tod and John from Frehley's Comet, it's going to be kind of a loose thing. It's not Kiss, of course, but it's an family tree of Kiss and Ace and then of Ace. So I think they dilute the amount of talent and delivery and capability between the band or any band that John and I would put together. And then when people hear John and me play together, it's like, I'm not to brag, but it's like, holy shit, you better be on your A game because John and I are very tight and solid, and it's a freight train at a consistent speed,
Yeah, and let me keep repeating it for people who don't know. Sean, for example, he's played with Helix in Canada. He plays with Nelly Furtado's band, Lee Aaron's band, but he's also signed to Universal Music in Canada for his classical stuff, his classical CDs with the arrangements and the complexity of it. It's not some chump that can do that.
No, not at all. That's something that we noticed, that John and I noticed or took note of, is the fact of his range of talent. That is so very exciting because, initially I'm a keyboard player. I started at 7 years old playing keyboards.
Right.
But because I have that background, I appreciate all kinds of different depth of musicianship. And I start thinking, the stuff we could do. Not to get too far off from the power of what I enjoy, because I'm really into heavy melodic stuff. But to incorporate that in little pieces here and there, like we've got this one brand new song that was brought in by a good friend of John's. That song's going to work perfectly for us. And we're going to incorporate a little bit of that at the top intro. And Sean is the perfect guy to do this type of stuff. Because his talent is just, I can't wait to tap into that, and I know he can't wait to show us some stuff that he's written. So yeah, the diversification is going to be unbelievable.
Does that excite you as a songwriter? Because when you have a guy who can play 3 chords, you go, okay, I got to write a song that has 3 chords. But when you have a guy who can go anywhere,
yeah, it does me again because I'm a keyboard player, and I love the fact that I can play bass notes, and I can play color chords and inverted chords and oddballs, stressed. I call them R demolished chords, and and then sing a tonic and strange melody over that. So to hear that translated on a guitar, acoustic guitar, with his expertise, you know, I'm thrilled. Not to get too far off base, because I don't want our character to get too lost or again diluted because of that. But just slight variations will spark an interest enough to go, wow, that is just unbelievably cool. It's kind of like the fans that have followed Kiss and Ace, then to me. Thank God for them, because they realize what I can do, what I can add. They appreciate it, but they also like the fact that I kind of try to stay in the heavy melodic range, which they knew and came to love in Frehley's Comet.
Well, what I've also noticed with your stuff recently is you're getting heavier and heavier as you're getting older. You really want to get into the power. Back up here and running. We are back. Skype once again gave up on us.
Yeah.
Which Skype likes to do once in a while.
Occasionally.
So, before Skype decided that we had enough conversation, we were actually talking about you getting heavier as you got old, as you're getting older and wiser and better looking.
Nice bail.
Yeah.
I understand exactly what you're saying. Yes. I've always been very heavy and dark.
Right.
A lot of people don't know that because they think I was, I wrote light songs, and because my principal instrument for Cheap Trick was keyboards. I didn't play any guitar really, except acoustically once, I think, back in 2008 or something with them. But everybody thinks I'm a lighter writer, and then they hear It's Over Now and think, oh, the schmaltzy power ballad with keyboards. Well, that's a pretty dark tune if you read into it and know the history of it. But I've always been a very heavy writer. But the perception is as such, and I understand that. So, yeah, I think I'm relaying more of the heavy style now because I've always enjoyed that. I've always enjoyed the heavy melodic. And I write stuff that sounds just ass-kicking dark for a heavy big rock sound until I start singing, because my voice really doesn't lend that type of, whatever thing. I just don't have that
range?
Genuine timbre. Yeah, I don't have a lower range. My range is like mid to high. And it just doesn't really lend itself to sound heavy. A lot of my friends that I play with way back in the cover bands here, and then growing up, they every time they see me go, my God, you get heavier as you get older. I said, well, it sounds like that, but since I learned how to play guitar, I've always been pretty bottom indie. But I just like it because it's powerful. It relays the things we're trying to feel, and John, Sean, and of course Stet loves it, and it's just something that's going to come through very easily for us.
Actually, just quickly speaking about Stet, he was in WASP, and you're doing some WASP songs. How is it trying to sing Blackie Lawless songs?
Well, I'm not singing them. Stet is.
Excuse me? Stet singing them?
Yeah, he's singing. Because I can't do that stuff. I mean, I could, but it had to be like a fake voice. But Stet is having a blast singing it. We're doing Blind in Texas. And it's really not us, but, neither is, Cheap Trick or Humble Pie songs that we're doing either just for fun because of our resume, John's resume, my resume. Right. Even had a Nugent song in there, but we pulled that right now because it's just kind of no room. And but it's fun to do that song because Stet gets to sing it. He gets to play his wild, like he's a Tasmanian devil. What the hell's that drummer on the Muppets?
Animal.
Yeah, that's Stet. You might not like that, but
that's what you have to be.
That's how he comes across, and it's great. I mean, it fits his personality, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, like I said, it's not quite our style, but it becomes our style because as soon as we start playing, I start laughing and have a big smile on my face, and then Sean and I have a blast, and John enjoys it, so we love it. It's staying in the set because it's part of his resume, and it's fun to do, and he gets to sing it. He bitches about having to sing after me, but he's holding his own very well, and he's fantastic on the harmonies. He picks up all the harmonies, and he's got an ear. I mean, my harmonies to sing to my songs and the new ones, they're no day at the beach, and some of them are up there, and he's pulling them off. He can hear the half steps and the chromatic changes, and especially in It's Over Now, he's pulling it together. I mean, we're still rehearsing it, but I am so thankful, and along with Sean's vocal ability, which is in lower range, but still there, and a solid background vocals. Man, I couldn't be happier.
Well, you got 3 singers going on in the band, right? John's not singing. Sean's singing.
Well, we're trying to force John to sing, but you know he doesn't want to bring his Italiano voice out there. You know, John's got a range. It's like.
But would Frank Sinatra really fit in the set?
Huh?
Would a Frank Sinatra song really fit in the set?
You know, as much and it's how hard we would try. Suffice to say, probably not.
Yeah, exactly. So, but hey, all right. Let's get into Frehley's Comet here for a second. First album. So John was telling me the story how they had Richie Scarlett, him and Anton. They had this little power trio going.
Right.
Richie couldn't make it. So what's your angle? How did you get into the band? What's your perspective?
Well, they also had Arthur Stead playing keyboards.
Oh, right.
A great guy who was playing with John in John Waite's band on the Missing You tour, I think, and maybe a couple other legs. But I knew nothing of the band at all.
Right.
But when John had introduced me to the project, I think to sum it up, it was moreover trying to downsize the project as a necessity based on perhaps the driving healthier outlook for Ace, and to get Ace to focus solely on his career as a solo artist, but with Frehley's Comet.
Right.
I don't know all the background about the relationship, other than they got along great with Richie Scarlett, who's a tremendous artist in his own right, of course.
Right. And
great guitar player, has written some good songs, of course.
And he'll be opening your show in June.
Yeah, and I find that not only brilliant, but I think it's going to be great fun.
For the fans, winner.
A little more about Richie in a second, as far as our relationship. But so I think it was an idea just to consolidate the band to a 4-piece, because there was going to be a whole lot of keyboards. There was a lot of keyboards on the Comet record, of which I embellished a couple parts, but they were already there when I had joined some of the tracks. And we really didn't plan on putting a lot of keyboards because it's going to be a rock band.
Right.
So we need more of a guitar player that could sing and write and play keyboards, or they needed more of that. And I was offered up, and it became a 4-piece, and Ace was pointed into probably the best direction for himself personally and career-wise. And he agreed to it, so that's what happened. And I was after 2 auditions, I was put in, because I flew in to an audition twice while I was en route to a Cheap Trick tour, and then one on the way home or something like that. But I was way different from Richie Scarlett. Richie is more of a jamming, a great guitar player. He's got a distinctive singing style, and of course a very good songwriter. I was like a different part of that type of spectrum, as everybody knows. And a lot of people try to throw that thing up about, Richie and me not getting along, or there's a rivalry, and there was never any such thing. I've met Richie a couple of times, and we had nothing but, great camaraderie, being of the same family tree. Mutual respect, I would imagine I have some for him. I don't know what he has for me, but I've never heard anything shitty that he's said about me, and he wouldn't have any reason to.
Yeah, so, I wouldn't see why. I mean, you were in a band, and you left for your own reasons, and he came in for his reasons, and had nothing to do with each other.
No, and he's had a good career on his own, which is stellar, and a credit to himself and his ability. So we're looking forward to doing the show, and I thought it was a brilliant move to have him open up for us and be a part of that, because he was part of that tree before I got there. And I don't have any insecurities or a threat in the fact that he's playing. He's a great guitar player. He's more of a jammer type player than I am. I'm more of a broader range songwriter player. I mean, when I play leads, I usually have, I think about them, and I have to plan them and structure them according to my production head and the melody. It's just a different school of thought, So, and a lot of people accept that. Other people don't, and that's fine. You waste your life trying to make everybody like you. It's ridiculous. So
yeah, and so let's talk about that first album, though. How much of it did you record, or was it mostly all done? Because you do sing. What do you sing on? You sing on "Calling to You," and you sing on a couple of the other songs.
Something Moved, I think, is on. Yeah, and Breakout. Well, they had an idea of what I should sing, and Ace sang a majority of the songs because a lot of it was already done. Right. Some of it was, I mean, it was like probably a little over half done. I came in and embellished, I think, some keyboard parts. And then I came and added a bunch of backgrounds to a lot of the tracks that were there. And then, of course, I sang the lead on the songs that they thought this would be a good song for Tod to sing, including the one that I brought in as one of my songs. I brought in It's Over Now as well, but it was too early for that song. We were going to save it for the second recording. So I did a lot of singing, a lot of background, some embellishment, and, of course, some guitar stuff. But it was a thing where I stopped touring with Cheap Trick in '96, December of '96, and joined the Comet around the same time. And then January '97, I was in the studio with them in New York, and we were just pushing on. So it was a forward motion thing. Let's get it done. Let's get it done. Let's get it done, and get out there and tour and support it. So that's how that happened.
Was that the tour with Maiden? That you had? No, that's the second
one. The
tour
with Maiden was in 1988.
Right, that was later on. That's why you had to sort of rush second sighting.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, there's been some controversy about Frehley's Comet, the first album, that it's supposed to have gone gold, but you never got gold. What's that story? Or can you tell it, or would you rather not tell it?
I don't know all the facts, but I would venture to say, based on the trickling over the last 26, 27 years, do the math here, that it has reached gold, I would imagine, because we sold, a boatload of them initially, because that was Ace's first solo band project, and a lot of people, rightly so, were very excited by it. We had a lot of MTV airplay and videos and interaction when MTV actually played some music, and so that would have pushed it further. And I'm pretty sure it's over 500,000. I've never received anything. I've never received, without getting into litigious sounding dialogue here, I've never received any money for it.
You've never gotten any back end money for Frehley's?
Well, not from the fact that it reached gold.
Okay.
And I've received my publishing and royalties and that type of thing, and my advances according to contracts. But as far as that type of effort, no, not really. And I'm sure there's something out there, and I am concerned about it, but probably not as much as I'm concerned about the notoriety of being awarded something that I earned, or that we've all earned, Ace has earned. So it'll come in time. It's kind of like arguing over the nickel versus the quarter. Everybody can use money. That's not. I'm happy to make money in this business, but it was always about just bringing out my music, pleasing the fans, and at least being able to sustain myself, so I could continue to do as such.
Now, when you joined the band, were you a Kiss fan to start off with, or was this sort of not your cup of tea?
No, I was, much to a lot of fans' chagrin, probably. I was never a Kiss fan.
Okay.
Growing up on the West Coast, I was more into heavy, back then, heavy rock.
Like the Beach Boys.
Like what?
Like the Beach Boys.
Yeah, actually, I did like the Beach Boys, only for the harmony aspect of it. I thought they were brilliant because I grew up on the Beatles. But when I entered the rock phase, It was more about Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, Humble Pie, T-Rex, that type of stuff. And then as I got older, I got a little more what they used to call progressive music. Heart, Styx, Kansas. Styx, only the heavy stuff. I never cared for some of the lighter stuff because it just I liked it when they got heavy. So a little bit that kind of thing. Because I was a keyboard player, guitar player, lead singer, still honing my craft, and so I liked that. But then I started to get back into the heavier stuff because it just was more fun to play to me.
Right.
So I was always, Rick Derringer, Aerosmith. I was never really into the Kiss. Into Kiss. I liked what they did. I thought they were brilliant. As I grew older, I respected and understood more about what Gene was doing. Matter of fact, I met Gene in 1979 when I was in L.A. playing with the group, and we were auditioned for his girlfriend at the time, which was Diana Ross, to open up for her in L.A. And just as that was taking place, I had joined a band called 707, so I never did the show. They went on to do it. I didn't do it. but Gene remembers me from 1979, which was odd. And of course, we'd have interaction there on out. But no, I wasn't a Kiss fan. I learned to appreciate Kiss, the music, their ability, their marketing genius, Gene's musical prowess, business prowess, and the individual talents of all of them. And I like them and respect them more now than I ever did, because I understand what they've done and how they've sustained what they've done. I mean, I imagine they've made some fans unhappy here and there based on what they may have had to have done.
You'll do that over 40 years. You can't keep everybody happy for 40 years. Not in a marriage, not with your kids. At some point, you're going to disagree, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough, because I think that the fans, as much as they, God bless them, they want to stay with us, stay with them, and think of them as always the same. The bands don't want to see, or the fans don't want to see any change, and that's inevitable, and it's unavoidable that those things are going to happen. It happens with every band. Cheap Trick, AC/DC now, and it's unfortunate that we can't continue to stay immortal forever.
No, and even Sabbath has Tommy Clufetto's drumming instead of Bill, so it happens. The album, so it came out, and it was in that sort of in the middle of Motley Crue's and Bon Jovi's and Def Leppard's. How did you think the album was going to do? And then when it didn't go as well as everybody thought, you start thinking about the second album.
I think it went out and did very well on an initial blast.
Right.
And that was to be expected, and we were supposed to push and follow through with the second one. Well, the second one got rushed for the reason of getting out with Iron Maiden on that tour. At the time, Ace was not ready. He didn't have enough writing or co-writing or collaboration with people, including myself, to put it forward, and we needed to get it done. And let's get this going. Todd, what do you got song-wise? And well, I got shitloads of songs. Some of them are not really for the Comet, and some are. And so we ended up doing all those, including It's Over Now. So because I wrote half the record and sang half the record, it became known as the Tod Howarth solo project, which was not true and not done on purpose. That's for sure. And I was trying to collaborate and include Ace more in stuff that I wanted to do, like Loser in a Fight. It was a fun song. It wasn't a great song. It was something I want Ace and me to do together. I had more planned like that. I even wanted to write songs for Ace flat out for him to sing and add his signature guitar style. It didn't come to happen because Ace wasn't ready, and he also wasn't terrifically healthy throughout that whole recording for some reason or another. I'm not really sure why, but we had to kind of rush and hurry it up. And so with all that combination, it came to pass that, it seemed to be like a discombobulated album. It had tremendous potential, I think, but we were on the cusp of, like you said, the other bands coming out with some ass-kicking stuff. And we had a hell of a hill to climb because people really didn't believe it as a viable band. Even though Ace is the guitar icon, a lot of people didn't believe in the project, I think, as a whole, and that probably didn't help.
Should it have been called just Ace Frehley and not Frehley's Comet? Would that have made a difference?
It might have. It might have had he come out and just carried the whole thing himself. I think maybe he felt like he could, but maybe it'd be better to do it collectively as a band because maybe it has more longevity, which was smart thinking on his part. I can't speak for him because I really don't know what was going through his mind at that point. That, looking back now, retrospectively, I think that may have been what had been in the combination. But had he been more driven to be, I'm solo, here's my band for now, here's my band next time. Ted Nugent did the very same thing. And he had a strong enough pull and personality to do as such. Ace, rightly so at that time, I think he wanted to have a band, which I love. I love that. I don't think I'd ever do a solo thing. I always want to have a band because it's more fun. it's not about, I'm not a glory or ego hog as far as it's all about me, me, me. I'm not the, the selfie generation. I want to be part of a project. So I think he wanted to be the same thing.
Yeah. So, Second Sighting comes out, which I have over here, doesn't do as well as people would expect. You're getting criticized that you've taken over the band and you're singing everything.
Yeah.
The shows are going on across the U.S. and stuff, and sometimes Ace doesn't show up or he shows up late, and it becomes sort of difficult to manage the whole thing. And you say at some point to yourself, okay, I've had enough. What led you to that decision?
Well, it was never during that time that I'd said I'd had enough. I never, in fact, I've never said I'd had enough. I'm not to
okay.
paraphrase what you were saying here. I mean, just to set how.
Correct me.
Yeah, no, where I was, the band ended the tour in New Orleans with Iron Maiden because, quite frankly, we ran out of money. We had 2 tour buses and the equipment truck, and we were paying everybody, appropriate amounts of money. We probably could have cut back a little bit to a budget, 1 bus and with a trailer. That's the way you could have done things, but it just wasn't managed overall the most proper way. I wasn't part of that. I should have been more in there, but I was always more the creative. What song can I come up with next? So ran out of money. We all went home. Band was pretty much out of cash to keep it going.
Okay.
So we were going to rush into doing another pre-production, take some time off, do another pre-production, and try to do a 3rd record, which would be just another, maybe perhaps a more solid ass-kicking project.
Right.
Well, it came back to me after once home, that we were going to have Ace sing and write every song for the next record. Well,
which is probably what fans wanted.
And yeah, probably. I mean, because they felt maybe violated by Second Sighting, and I understand that. However, at a basic survival level, that pretty much killed me for income because I had no way to really live except for touring and merchandise. We took all the merchandising money, put it right back in the band, so there's no money there. It wasn't a whole bunch anyhow, but it wasn't enough to live on. And then I had no form of income except for to tour, which wouldn't be happening for another half a year maybe.
Right.
I had a young family at the time. I'm going, how the hell am I supposed to live? So with that, I had no chance of getting more publishing advances with no songs. So I felt I had no choice except for to call Ace and say, Ace, I love the guys, love you. And I appreciate, very grateful for everything that's taken place. And I told him this. I said, I'm going to have to leave the project because, I've got to try to strike out my own so I can try to make a living. Because if I'm not allowed to write or sing, I mean, yeah, it's a slap in the face. But deep down, and maybe not so deeply down, I understood that, I need to make a living. And he understood, and his exact words were saying, I'm sorry to hear this. I don't want you to go, but, I understand what you're saying here. And that was it. That was the bona fide truth. Ace didn't fire me because I was too light. Ace didn't let me go because I was trying to take the band into a different direction or trying to make the Tod Howarth project. That was a bunch of bullshit. Whether or not he said that or not, which I don't think that he said that. It could have been misconstrued, or he may have alluded to a statement that could have been misconstrued. That was not the case. This is, from my mouth and my memory on that, which is an important part of my life, that's exactly what happened. Right. So I left to try to make it, and I did make some headway, and I was doing real well. Got signed to Gene Simmons Records after a couple of incarnations of a local band. And then joining Cheap Trick. I was back with Cheap Trick in a local band, had custody of my 2 young kids. I'm running ragged, got a record deal, and then grunge came in and cleaned house. And it was
tell me a little bit about working with Simmons Record. Was Gene hands-on? Did he come in and say, I want you? Or
yeah, at the time his assistant had seen my demo from my band that I sent to his record label.
What band at that? This wasn't 707 anymore.
No, this was Hardware.
Okay.
There was 2 bands actually, same band, 3 different incarnations of the band, but it was Wet Camp and then it became Hardware.
Okay.
And that was the band that got signed to Gene, and Gene and I talked on the phone. And we had several meetings, and we did some showcases, and Gene showed up, and then I think we did a final showcase for Warner, and we were just about to get distribution from Warner. I think it was Warner through Simmons label.
Right.
And then the whole thing folded because the interest was zero because of the new alternative music coming in and just kicking ass. So that fell apart. Gene was very much hands-on. Gene liked my songwriting. He was well aware of my career, of course, because it's funny how the tree of my career goes through all the people that Gene knows, right, again, since back in '79. And Gene and I talked on the phone. I went to Gene's house with the band to discuss some stuff about the band. We had an incredibly talented but somewhat unstable guitar player at the time, so that was a little bit of a volatile situation. And some great drummers. And
was the album ever recorded?
No, I've got a lot of demos,
okay,
of that record, and then I ended up doing, well, they're all my songs, of course, but I did a lot of those songs I did on a Silhouette CD, which is a drum machine. I didn't use any of the recordings that we had done. I just redid everything myself. Yes, the Silhouette CD.
Well, I can't
I didn't have a drum set at the time. Otherwise, I would have played drums. But that was all drum programming for all I think there were 9 songs on there. And each song took me about roughly 36 to 40 hours to program properly.
Wow.
Which was just mind-numbing. Production was not so great on that, of course, because I was trying to do it when I was home from touring with Cheap Trick. But that was a culmination of a lot of the earlier stuff I did with the band, which really had some great performances on it.
So Silhouette, in a sense, is a collection of the hardware Gene or Simmons Records demos, in a sense?
Yes.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Since you mentioned Simmons Records, at the time, was Tommy Thayer working with him? Because I think he was part of that whole... did you have any interactions with Tommy?
I don't remember anything about Tommy or interactions with him at all. As a matter of fact, the first time I heard the name Tommy Thayer was when I learned that he was Ace's replacement counterpart, doppelganger in Kiss. But no, I never heard about him at all. I mean, I don't pay a lot of attention to that stuff. A lot of people ask me about, what do you think of this, that, Kiss that. I said, I haven't a fucking clue. I don't know. I mean, it's not to sound callous. I mean, I don't remember shit about my own career, let alone somebody else's career. That I hate to sound callous with the indifference, but it's just like I've got so many things that I'm worried about and doing here with my own project. I don't delve into a lot of details about stuff that I just don't.
The minutia of other bands.
Yeah.
When I interviewed John the other day, he looked at this album here, the Live +1, and he's pretty much said that it was a mistake to release it at the time that it was released. Do you think it was a mistake? Do you think they should have held on to it or put it out at a different time? Or?
Well, I remember it being rushed as well. I think that with the hindsight of the release of Second Sighting, yeah, it probably was released too early.
Right.
Because then we were forced to, God, what's that word? We were making the decision to rush Second Sighting, and we already had the Live +1 out. Yeah, it would have been nicer had the plan gone on as it was to maybe, with the Live +1 being released when it was, to wait longer to release Second Sighting. But looking back on that, a lot of things were released pretty quickly, and we did that because we were just beginning a foundation. And even though a lot of people were well known for what they'd done, it didn't have we couldn't be like Guns N' Roses, where you wait forever for a second record, or a third, fourth, that kind of thing. So we had to produce some material for people to go, oh yeah, this band, okay, go, So yeah, I guess so, but I really didn't pay attention to that aspect either.
All right, let me ask you the tougher question. Let's talk Megaforce Records.
Mm-hmm.
In a sense, they're responsible for rushing the product. You're on tour, and you said you ran out of money. In the '80s, labels gave tour support. So what are your feelings of Megaforce? Did they treat the band right? Did they treat you right? Is it just circumstance, or do you think they could have done better?
Well, Megaforce was the label, and of course Atlantic was the distribution.
Right.
I think Atlantic probably held
the bigger stick,
the larger purse strings, and therefore they make the decisions about what they're going to do, what they're not going to do. Like the first single and the second single, and then they drop out. It's over now, and I put no money behind it. Which was just devastating to me on a couple different levels. Not so much personal or selfish, but just the fact that, look, this could have made the band. This could have done something for the band. Anyhow,
it's a great song.
Thank you. I think that it's hard to lay blame there.
Okay.
I'm not so sure that the Megaforce could have been culpable for that or not.
Well, maybe don't lay blame. Just say, "Hey, Mitch, you're wrong." No, they were great.
No, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think back on that. They probably gauged their decision and what they want to invest in it based on an overall decision, what was going to happen, based on what Ace maybe was thinking, doing, or a direction he wanted to go. So rather than put a whole bunch of money into that or this single or the album, they're thinking, let's just ramp it back a little bit, see how everything settles, and nail on the third record, which I became not a part of. So it could be, being the pros and cons, it could have been long-term thinking versus short-term, fuck it. I don't know. Right. But I do know that in what's your very own money, you think a lot more about it before investing as opposed to spending someone else's money. I just don't know.
Okay. Live, there was the live, what was it called? Live and you recorded that show at the Hammersmith. And it became that video cassette, which for the life of me, I forgot the name all of a sudden.
Oh, you mean Ace's Home Adventures, that one?
Or Live Plus One, the video, or whatever it was?
Live Plus 4.
Live Plus 4. Right. That full show exists. Do you think it'll ever come out?
I don't know if we recorded the whole thing or not. We did the 4 production videos, or actually... Did we do 4 or 3? We did Falling Angel, It's Over Now, and...
There must have been the first 2 for... There must have been Into the Night and Rock Soldiers, right? Or was that not on there?
Maybe it was Rock Soldiers, I think, was on there. But yeah, I don't even remember. Because the whole show, was that recorded live or not? Wow, I feel stupid. I don't even remember because it hasn't been... I get... I mix up a lot of the live shows I did with Cheap Tricks. We did a whole bunch, and of course some went to DVD, and then there was a lot of shows that were recorded with me. Of course, you don't see a lot of me, and some of those aren't released, so I kind of get my facts get a little diluted. But I don't know what's out there as far as the complete live show.
Is there anything sitting in the Ace Frehley vault that you're on that you would like to see come out?
Not that I know of.
So you didn't record 16 tracks for every album and use the best 10, whatever.
I was never in on demos. We never got a chance. We just went straight to album. There was no demos. I mean, I came in and the record was being recorded and did that, and then of course Live Plus One, and then the second sighting. Here are the songs. Let's get in and record. There was no demoing. So for me, what I've done, there's nothing there that I know of that's sitting in a vault. Now for Ace, he has a lot more backstory with the project, so there may be a couple things there, and some stuff has come out, but no, not with me.
So I just checked here. The Live Plus 4 is Into the Night, Rock Soldiers, Insane, It's Over Now. So you also did a video for Time Is Running?
I don't know if we did one for Time Is Running. I remember Falling Angel.
Oh, yeah, well, it's not on there, but... I'm sure we'll...
It should be Falling Angel because I know you been up, I've seen you fly, yeah.
Great songs.
Yeah, thanks. It was, it'd be fun to do it live, but those high harmonies are way in the trees, and I don't think anybody's going to do that.
I'm still pushing for Calling to You live. I mean, I'm going to start protesting if that's not done.
It is on there. It is in there. Strike the drums!
Now, see? That's what people want to hear.
We were torturing Stet with that too. He's singing that as well. And matter of fact, in rehearsals, he kept going. The first line of the chorus, he kept screaming out, stand up and shout. And we playing on Brian Turner. I said, dude, it's strike the drums. And he goes, oh, I should know that. So we just laughed about that, but it was just hilarious. So,
but I gotta say, as a fan back then, when I bought the album, I really wanted to hear the Ace vocal stuff, and I dug into the Night and Rock. And Calling to You, I kept going, damn, I love this song, but it's not Ace, and it broke me down. It made me love your voice and the non-Ace songs.
Mitch, thank you. God bless you. Thank you so much. It's very hard to win over Kiss fans, but when you do, they're like pit bulls. They hang on, they stay with you and believe in you, and I'm very thankful for that. I mean, I've had a lot of fans over the years with all the bands, but the ones that are the most dedicated, when they let me into their inner circle, and that's not said lightly or sarcastically, are the Kiss fans. And when they get in there and understand what I have to offer, that I'm not going to, convert Ace or take over the band, I appreciate that so much. But I have a lot of people say that, Ace is not a singer. He'll be the first one to admit that. He has a very distinctive voice, stylistic voice, and people need to hear it, should hear it, and he wants them to hear it. That being said, he's not a singer. I am a singer, only because that's what I did best. I'm a good keyboard player, a very solid rhythm player, but I'm a better singer than all that above, I believe. Now, maybe somebody else has a different opinion, and that's fine. But the fans that did recognize that, like such as yourself, thank you so much for being there. And I get a lot of mail about that. They go, we love Ace, and please, I wouldn't say this publicly, I love Kiss, but your songs and your singing, wow, blah, 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 which makes me feel good because it's not about yay me, yay Team Tod. It's like, fantastic. How can we apply that to the band?
Yeah.
And I always thought about how can we apply this to the Comet? And now I'm thinking, well, how can we apply this to 4 by Fate? Because God forbid anybody thinks, oh, it's a Tod Howarth band. It's not the fucking Tod Howarth band. I've had Tod Howarth bands, and although they're fun, that is not what I want to do here. I am just 1/4 of this project, and I sound like I'm on a soapbox already because I'm only 5'7". But it's about the band, and I've always been about let's do what we can for the band. Now, if I shine through for whatever reason, it's only based on my pure ability. I won't even say talent; I'll say ability, and nothing more, and nothing more.
Yeah, and plus, with 4 by Fate, it's going to be hard to shine through because John is stellar.
Oh, yeah.
Sean is stellar.
She's phenomenal.
And Stet's a monster. So it's, you've got 4 equal parts. It's going to be a great, great project. Let's just sum up here. How would you characterize, looking back 25 years later, the Frehley's Comet? How do you sum up that part of your life? Good times, bad times?
Oh, not only is it indelible, it's pivotal for me. The best opportunities I've ever had given to me by Ace. Some of the most fun in the parameters of the things I just listed. The best of times for a project that I was allowed to contribute everything that I could at that time, as much as I could for the genre and the characteristics of that band. I quite frankly, John and I were like very close to retirement here. I mean, we're a little older, and if we were to quit today or next year, whatever, we've got one hell of a resume and what we've done. We can't continue on like the Stones because only the Stones can do that. But if we were to quit today, we say, look, this is what we accomplished, this is what we did, and here is the pinnacle of our career. I don't, in my studio and even in my home, I do not have one thing hung up of any of my music career at all. And then when family members come over, they see, I do have one picture of Ace and me at the Hammersmiths show in a collage of pictures on the wall, and people see that and go, what's this? And I have to explain it to them because they don't, they really don't know me or my career because it's not all about me, when I'm home. And they see that, I go, well, this is what I was doing. And they go, holy shit, and then they look me up and that kind of thing. So I don't advertise that. It's not up everywhere. I don't relish it. I don't, I think I'll probably end up putting more stuff for everything up after I'm done rather than, now. So it is the best it is the one part in my career where it was in the short, what, year and a half that we had with the Comet, as it was then, that is the most, I think, proudest accomplishment that I've done. I mean, the biggest tour was the first one I did with 707 playing with REO Speedwagon. I mean, they were huge in the High Infidelity tour back in 1981 through 82, 83 or late 83. Yeah. So that was the biggest tour I've done. And there's been more exciting stuff. The longest reign I've had was with Cheap Trick on and off since 1985 through all the way through 2008. So it's you know, it may be astounding for some people to think that just that little year and a half I did with Frehley's Comet could be the best, or maybe the thing they know me for, and there's a reason for that.
But it does go to show the power of Kiss, right? Because you've been with Cheap Trick or you've on and off 10, 15 years, and it's a band that's had a 40-year career as well.
Yeah.
You've been with 707, and High Infidelity was huge. I mean, that was arena size or stadium size, actually.
Oh, yeah, huge.
And here's something you did for 1 year, 30 years ago, and that's what people want to talk about because Ace was in the band.
Right.
It's outstanding.
It is. Well, yeah, the demographics of the Kiss base, which grows, and it'll always be there. I mean, even, you know, not to make fun of them, but I mean, it's closer to reality than not. But, you know, even when Kiss is long gone, they're definitely going to be staples in Vegas. I'm sure it's going to be like, you know, franchised a group that'll be there, and rightly so. They should be. I mean, because people are going to want to see that when grandparents say, "This is what I used to listen to back in the day," and they take the kids, and it'll introduce a whole new generation. You know, and I mean, I know it sounds like maybe a mean-spirited comment, but, you know, it should happen because it's an integral part of the American history, musical history for what they contributed and how they contributed it. Yeah, it's amazing what they want to talk about and what they remember me for, which is fantastic, and I'm forever thankful and grateful, and that is the nature and business of music, and you know, you really can't have it any other way.
And then moving forward, we've got 4x So it's not just going to be a series of live shows where you're just going to cover some Ace and stuff. There's going to be an album at some point.
Yeah, I'm working on stuff right now. As a matter of fact, I've only been home since for a week. Not even a week, actually. I flew home last Monday from New York, and with the contention of taking a little bit of time off, and then actually tomorrow I start back up on my own personal rehearsals to shape up the new arrangements. And I'm also working on new material. Sean's working on new material. We're going to do some collaboration. We've got another writer, outside writer, that's a great guy. One of the songs we're playing that is his, and we're going to work with him as well. I'm not opposed to taking any song from any direction that sounds like where we would go. Right. That's what we need to do. It's not all about me. You know, it's about what's best for the band. So that's what's going to take place there. Yeah, with the work that Danny Stanton and Collier Entertainment is putting in, and the belief and the backing, and then, and of course, people like Mitch Lafon, that is fantastic, continuous, perpetual motion behind us. And we're going to make it work with that belief as far as the fans are going to accept it. Yeah. And it's going to be a lot of work, but John and I and the rest of the guys are not you know, strangers to hard work. It's
no, not you. I mean, the project was delayed for a while because you were re-roofing your warehouse or house or
I take care of the family has business real estate here in San Diego, and which
that's hard work. That's back-breaking work.
I'm a physical laborer. I do everything that's needed to be done, you know, to cut corners. Financial, I guess that's where some of the financial prowess comes from, is the fact that, well, how can we save thousands of dollars? Well, I know this 56-year-old can re-roof roughly about 6,000 square feet of roof myself. My 29-year-old son helped me maybe on the last eighth of one of them, but it took out both my elbows, my ankles, my wrists. I lost a fingernail. I mean, just all kinds of injuries, but this is stuff I've been doing for years. Right. So yeah, I'm very physical. And then to try to go home, wolf down my dinner at 4:30, and then clean up and get to rehearsal, until for a couple hours singing and playing, standing up, it takes a toll on me. And I have the drive. I've always been driven. I still have that drive. I will probably fall down dead standing up if you can do that. And I put that effort into 4 by Fate because not only for the band and for myself, but for the people behind it, such as yourself, Danny Stanton, and a host of whole new people, including some fans that are pushing for us. I'm willing to do that because it's more hard work. So what? What isn't hard work nowadays? If you really want something bad, you're either related to the money, inherit the money, or you work hard for it. You know.
Yeah, it's you know, I'll finish off here, but it's just so great to hear you this excited because, you know, when we talked about the tribute album, you did the songs and you were like, okay, I'll do the song, but there wasn't that passion and the four. I mean, you know what I mean. But now, what 4 by Fate, there's, you know what I mean. I was like, oh, okay, you know, now there's this energy and this drive. It's like revitalized you, the project. So,
and I'm glad that comes through. And yes, you are right. It is there. The enthusiasm for the project, such as yourself, such as the tribute to Heroes, World with Heroes,
World with Heroes, yeah.
It is extremely important to me. I was very enthusiastic to do that. Wow. Yeah, fantastic collaboration of a lot of tracks and a lot of artists that are brilliant in their own right. It is a great thing to do, and I was very honored to be a part of it. And of course, I spent some of my own money, as everybody did, to contribute to it. This enthusiasm for 4 by Fate is probably a longer-term investment. Not to sound selfish, but it does perpetuate perhaps a brighter future for what I want to do, which includes a lot of people in a long-term situation. So the enthusiasm is there for many reasons, that being one of them. Playing with John Regan on stage, you know, Johnny and I were talking about, you know, we come up and play alongside each other, and Johnny's pounding on his bass, and I'm on my Steinberg and 100-watt Marshalls. And I got to tell you, there's just no other better feeling when Johnny and I start playing. I mean, it's just lock solid. And we make it just inveritable hell for anybody that's not locked on to us because they can feel it and hear it. They're like, oh, fuck, you know. But with this band, it's working, and it's going to be good. And so, yeah, the enthusiasm is genuine. And we have really high hopes. And we're going to put, you know, as much as we can into it. Like we're 20-year-olds because we believe in it, and we'll see what happens. If it doesn't come to pass, well, it's not because we didn't try.
No, but I'm pretty sure it'll come to pass. I mean, the Facebook reaction has been. I mean, you put up a Facebook page, and within a couple of days, you were over 3,000 fans. I mean, that's hard to get. Yeah,
especially for what, you know. I mean, you know, the other guys. Well, Sean's younger than we are. But for an older band, yeah, I think so. I mean, we're established in our own rights, but we're not established as like, you know, here comes Black Sabbath or here comes this band where, I mean, they're huge to begin with, but it's a solidified band name. Whereas this like a 4 by who, right. You know, or, you know, John who, I mean, you know, and then you mention the names, blah, blah, blah. So it's kind of a, again, the diluted resume that some people will get, some people won't. But you have to have product. You got to produce the results. You got to have the drive. You got to produce. You got to convince the people that, holy fuck, this is real, and they mean business, or at least they mean it. Whether or not you like the music that we come up with or play, you know, I'm not, you know, David Lee Roth at 20 years old. That's for damn sure. I'm, you know, I'm up there. I've never been you know, jumping all around. I'm just not that kind of guy, even though I have that personality. I'm more of a, here's the song, here's the backbone, and, you know, I'll entertain you, but, you know, I really can't break any ankles jumping off drum risers anymore, so that's not going to happen.
No, let's not do that. So let's just remind the folks of the dates. June 5th at the Revolution Music Hall in Amityville, New York. Yep. June 6th at the Chance in Poughkeepsie, New York, with Richie Scarlett opening up.
Yeah, yeah.
That's going to be great. And I will be there that night.
And the best part.
The best part. Isn't it, though? August 7th, the Untouchable Rock Club, Oslo, Norway, and then the Alcatraz Festival in Belgium, August 9th. And, of course, you are doing the On the Rocks Finland Kiss Exposition with John Regan on May 17th.
Yes.
A lot of great dates. And
yeah.
More to come.
Yeah, they're piling in. They're coming in. Some are promotional. John and I will be performing some songs with the Kiss cover band. They're Frehley's Comet Kiss cover band, which will be fun. And I'm sure we'll be doing more Kiss convention stuff to promote, of course, Frehley's Comet, past catalog, and 4x Fate. So, I mean, when you're part of that Kiss family tree, that's what you've got to do. We'll be doing more of them, I'm sure. I haven't done a lot of Kiss conventions in the last many years because it just, I mean, I've had some product, but I wasn't, all about coming out there and pimping that because I just felt it wasn't appropriate. And I always had hoped that maybe we could get Ace back together to do something, and then we could hit some Kiss conventions with or without Ace to say, hey, look, we're going to do this again. Boom, boom, boom. Enjoy it while it lasts or whatever. So, but I feel this project lends itself to the fact that we should promote via the Kiss conventions and anything possible that people will enjoy listening to.
No, I would love if Ace showed up at the Chance in Poughkeepsie on the 6th and had you, Richie, all jammed together. But hey,
that would be brilliant fun. And who's to say that won't come to pass? I mean, once we get some momentum going, I'm sure the Ace will want to jump in there, and he'll be more than welcome to. I mean, that's great fun. I am not opposed to any of that. I mean, it's like it was like that would be like saying, no, we don't want Gene and Paul coming up and jamming with us the Limelight.
Yeah.
Back in what was it, early '88? That was big time fun. I mean, whatever makes the fans happy. It's not about anybody's ego as far as I'm concerned. Fuck your ego. Just get out there and make the fans happy. That's what we got to do, and we'll do it the best way we can.
Yeah, and I can see that by the interaction on the Facebook page and stuff like that. So there you go. Thank you. Oh.
Well, Sean, thank you. I'm Sean, Jesus. Mitch.
I'm neither Sean nor Jesus, but
it's a blender of things going on today. I got to leave to go to visit a very sick and good friend of mine, dear childhood friend of mine in the hospital. Long story short, he has cancer and stage 4, and he had asked me to come and visit him and then play some acoustic songs. So that's what I'm doing today.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to go do that as well. But, it's a little bit of blender of activities here. Grateful to have all of them happening. So, excuse me, Mitch, for calling you Sean. I'm thinking Stet. I'm thinking, did I say enough about Stet and Sean and John, and Danny? I mean, all the integral parts of this virtual 5-piece band, and all the people.
We should also tell people we're recording this on Easter Sunday, so we're all fitting it into our busy schedules to make it happen, so that fans can listen and get the story. And
happy Easter to those celebrating Easter, and just happy Sunday to those not. I mean, I'm not. I'm not either or about that kind of thing. It's just, make the best of it and give as much as you can in whichever direction you can. That's a part of life that I feel.
And Todd, thank you. It's facebook.com/4by-Fate. Go there, like it twice. Tell your friends to like it.
Please,
and, head out to one of these shows.
You will have so much fun. I mean,
and you guys are there interacting, all of you.
Oh yeah, I mean we'll be. I mean, well, I'm a ham, and I really like being on stage. And Stet is even bigger ham, and never shuts the hell up.
Sean's Canadian,
which is great. Sean's Canadian. He's got a great sense of humor. Of course, John. If you analyze John walking around the stage and watch his facial expressions, if you can see him, he is hilarious. His dry sense of humor. Yeah, I can laugh at him, just look at him. So, I mean, the combination of all the characters in this project alone, I mean, is worth the price of admission. Let alone hearing something like "It's Over Now."
Thank you, Todd. It's definitely worth it.
Thank you, Mitch. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Yep. Have a good one.
You too. Take care.
All right. So we're back with Todd. Todd, I was hanging up on you, and then we started talking quickly about Sean and Stet and the album and all that, and there's something we have to add. We can't say goodbye without adding this in.
Yeah, I can't. First, my dog wants to get it. Come on, Alf. Come here. The important things first. The dog wants to in the office here. Good boy. Sit and quiet. Just stop talking, dog. There's something I wanted to mention about the fact of the characters in the band, Stet Howland and Sean Kelly, that I didn't mention. And it's very important. And besides the tremendous characters that Stet is, which I think is a huge attribute as far as his personality, and Sean as well. The hugely beneficial thing for this project is the fact that they are lead singers.
Right.
I will not be singing all the lead. I mean, I'm the principal lead singer, but I won't be singing every song. Stet and Sean, I'm sure, are going to have at least one song each if they're going to sing.
Right.
And they have the ability to sing incredible backup vocals. But the real fun thing for me is that not only will I be able to sing lead on the songs, but I will be able to interject more labor-intensive lead vocals because I'll be able to interject Stet as a lead singer in part for certain songs to take over certain areas where I come in over the top and blast something, or Sean comes in and in the tonic and reiterates what I'm singing, and I get to embellish that with harmonies or an answer part. So it'll be interwoven where you'll be able to hear and develop the character of 4 by Fate.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of flavor. And,
I mean,
let's just remind the fans, Sean Kelly was the lead singer of his own band, Crash Kelly.
Right.
And with Nelly Furtado, he's doing these incredible background vocals because you have to harmonize in that kind of situation. And so it's going to be a...
Yeah, I mean, they have the extreme ability to be able to do as such, and they should. And like I said before, Stet is really good with the harmonies, and his timbre and Sean's timbre combined with the songwriting and my timbre, a huge asset, I think, and I'm looking so very forward to being able to blend this. This is nothing different from what I wanted to do for Frehley's Comet for the third record that I was going to be on, but had to leave because I wasn't. It sounds weird, but something I wanted to progress and move ahead with in this manner and develop. It is a band, and this is the band. This is how it's going to work. So I thought it was very important to include that. You always get off topic when you're talking about things because ideas and points float into your head, and then right out that same ear when you start talking about other things. But it's imperative. I want to include John in there on some vocals, and I will. Oh, yes, I will.
I don't think he's going to have any of that, but we're going to try. No, but
it's going to be fun.
I think especially fans that come to the band via that Kiss route. I'm a Kiss fan. They love having Peter sing. They love having Ace sing, and of course Gene and Paul.
Right.
So they're going to hear all 4 guys singing here.
And they'll be able to tell who's whom, and it'll be a blast for them. And one other thing I want to point out, I keep looking at the screen. I'm looking at you right now, and then I look up here at the camera, and I'm not sure which one is the right way to look. So if it looks like I'm looking above the camera, that's
looking at the camera works. They both work.
That. Yeah.
See, I cheat. I put a little tiny screen right under the camera, so it sort of makes it look like I'm looking.
I tried to move my image here down.
But
it doesn't go, but it doesn't matter.
So you'll get 4 by Fate, but you're also going to get 4 personalities, 4 voices singing on that album, and that's the way to go. I think it's going to be interesting. Share those vocal duties. It's
going to be a lot of fun, and the character, if we're lucky enough to be able to relay it through, it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I'll finish by saying this: if you want to get a sneak peek of Sean Kelly singing, go out and find those Crash Kelly CDs. They're on Amazon, they're on iTunes, they're on YouTube, Penny Pills, etc. Very much worth it. So.
Yeah, we're doing one of his songs, Ride the Wire. Matter of fact, we modified it. John came up with an idea, and Sean improvised on it, and we did it right at the rehearsal, and it's a great part. It's a little part, but it's a lot of fun. I think I even get to do a lead in it, so I got to work on that. So it sounds, intelligent as opposed to I have no idea what I'm doing, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, what an incredible talent.
Yeah, great stuff. All right, thank you there.
All right, that's it.
We'll say goodbye for real now.
Okay, take care. Cheers.